So we're back with yet another video on a deck that got buffed in the, well, it's not even recent anymore, but the latest balance patch, I guess. So yeah, we're gonna be playing some Natura Sword. This was the first deck well, it's not the first deck I played, but it's the first deck I made a video on this expansion. And well, as a sword main, it's important to return to your favorite decks once in a while. So we are playing more Natura Sword today. In terms of the buffs, one of the main I guess the main key difference here is the Untold Kick buff. When it was first released, this is what it looked like. Then they nerfed it to require rally 10, and then now it's back to this state again. So yeah, now that Opulent Strategist isn't in the game anymore, I guess they can unbuff this. I mean, unnerf this, and make it back to its original state. This card's existence is just its transmute form, which is a 0 cost spell. Deals 2 damage to anything, including your own followers. Or to that any follower, not anything, but any follower you can deal 2 damage to it and then just draw a card. So it's just good for cycle, and it's good for getting unnecessary neutral followers out of your hand. Especially Elena, you only really need 1 copy of her, so extra copies of her you can just use with Untold Kick to get rid of them. And that's what Untold Kick does. And also we got a buff to Benevolent Mother as well, which we talked about in the previous video. But yeah, just a nice little bonus of being able to have more war and heal more. So this is the deck list we'll be playing today. It's not an original deck list, it's not mine. It is a deck list made by a Japanese sword player, Maito. I usually take a lot of reference for him when I play sword because he's a really good player, and he's where I learned to play sword from originally. So yeah, this is the video. I mean, this is the deck that we'll be playing today. So let's just go ahead and jump into some games. So for our first game for today, we are going first against Blood. I would say that Blood is usually rough, but I feel like recently there's been a spike in popularity in Evil Blood for some reason, so you're gonna have to watch out for that as well. At this point, I would rate it about a 50-50 difference. For the mulligan, we just look for early game cards like the Seeker of Love, as well as early game tree generators like the Fox Spearman, the Lupine Crusher, and the Desert Wanderer and stuff like that is usually fine. Fiery Strike is also a pretty good thing to look for early on, but since we have no good play this turn, we just go ahead and pass. Then we play the Dashing Duelist here just as a little warrior to avoid the damage going to our face. My opponent spends a Razor Claw to clear the Dashing Duelist, which is good for me. Hopefully the hand isn't that good. We go ahead and use the Brother's Pride to just clear it and then just pass. We don't really want to discard anything with Elena in this hand, so we go ahead and just pass. Also, my opponent's hand isn't super good, but neither is mine, so I think that balances out. At this point, we don't really have much we can do with this hand, so we're gonna use Benevolent Mother to clear their board, as well as convert her into 2 draw with the 2 trees. We're gonna try to get Balion active as early as possible, hopefully. So there's the Temptress of the Cups for my opponent, and they're gonna evolve the Demon as well to drain more, I guess. There's in Wrath as well, so we have to watch out for that. But yeah, go ahead and draw a bunch of cards here, which is good. Start a Desert Wanderer. Desert Wanderer is a very, very efficient draw engine. The only problem with it, if any, is that it's a neutral card. That's my only complaint with it. Being unable to be fused into Fiery Strike can be very annoying, so yeah. So we draw a Lupine Crusher. We're gonna go ahead and use that to draw into our deck, as well as clear their board. And then we're gonna use Fiery Strike to draw deeper into our board. Draw deeper into our deck. Fiery Strike is a very valuable card in the early to mid game, and sometimes in the late game as well, even though it's not usually part of your lethal combos, but it's very valuable. It summons storms for you to chip damage. It gives you more trees and more followers to have work on your Balion's play count. Left play count, and also it just draws you deeper into your deck. This is the rare sword deck that can actually draw into your deck, so that's good for us. So there's the Garnet Rondo from them. They always have it, so just expect it, I guess. Go ahead and heal themselves back up and clear our board, take a bunch of damage as well. Thankfully they didn't really have a good follow-up, so they just went with how to train your bat there. At this point, Balion is active, so we're gonna go ahead and play Balion here. We can use the Desert Wanderer as well, which will pop the tree to give us another copy of his spell. And then play Fox Spearman. The reason why we do set out Fox Spearman here, if I can explain, is if you're not familiar with Balion's effect, it gives your leader the following effect, which is to whenever a follower leaves play, whenever an allied Nataran World Tree is destroyed, you get a Luminous Blade into your hand. It's once per turn, but it's not only on your turn, or even on your opponent's turns it can trigger. So by playing this Fox Spearman here, we set up our ability to get another copy of the spell during their turn, which is important for OTK, so make sure you remember this trick of setting it up so that you can get extra copies of the spell, because when it comes to the lethal patterns, the Fox tends to be very reliable. The Balion with his spells are very reliable options. And we go ahead and play the Elena here just to pick up the Erica. Usually Erica into Balion plus extra is your lethal combo, so we try to set that up usually, and then we just go ahead and fuse cards in the legendary kick just to make hand space. So there's another Garnet Rondo, which is fine I guess. Hopefully we're not dead yet. Actually we are definitely not dead with 3 PP only. And there's the Chimera. And you can see we have another copy of Luminous Blade now, which is good. And there's the Diablo's Hedone here, which will clear our board and hit us in the face, put us down to 3. But thankfully, since they are 13, they are well within lethal range. We don't really need to work hard or to kill them. We go ahead and kick just to draw a little bit. I don't think it's actually necessary for anything. As you can see, the Balion spell is at 21 followers left play now, so we do get the full effect. Go ahead and play that. We go ahead and just... I do have lethal, right? I'm not sure. Oh, I actually don't have lethal? Do I? I do have lethal. I guess I was just trying to be extra. Then we go ahead and buff everything and then play the Great Instinct to get Erica down, and then we have exact lethal, so let's move on to the next game. So for this next match, we are going second against Shadow here. Shadow is usually Machina Shadow. I think Machina can be annoying, so we have to watch out for that. They have a lot of wards and a lot of healing and control tools, which can make getting lethals against them difficult. It's not impossible though, so we're gonna try our best. So we go ahead and play the Fox Spearman here. We go ahead and ping them in the face, just to get some early pressure on, I guess. There is consideration for leaving our board empty to deny them things like Techno Lord and the Accession of Balance, but I don't really think... Oh, here I misplayed by the way. I should have traded the Fox Spearman before playing the Lieutenant's Report, but for some reason I forgot to do that, so I guess we're dealing with that now. There's the hoverboard speed for my opponent, that's fine. There's the Friends Anywhere, so that's 2 copies of Friends Anywhere played, and 2 of the cards in their hand are Assembly Droids, so I guess we gotta keep that in mind for now. This is a trick that works against like half the classes maybe. If you can get ambush on your dashing duelist, this is especially valuable going second. I think going first it's not as useful of a play, but going second this can be nice. We go ahead and set up a dashing duelist with ambush here. We know Machina doesn't really have a way to clear this, so we can go ahead and do that. And then that will allow us to clear whatever they play here, as well as apply a bunch of damage pressure to their face. And they play the Lubel here, which is fine. We just go ahead and evolve this dashing duelist here, which will pop their whole board. Well, besides the Lubel, and since we need to draw cards and get our Balion count up, we go ahead and play the Benevolent Mother. Balion's effect is of course very valuable for stacking up his copies of his spell, but it's not like immediately necessary to go for, so you gotta take it at your own pace, especially against decks that have evil point reliant effects. Like this deck has shared goals, so you don't want to give them the evil point advantage too easily. So go ahead and draw further into our deck, that's nice. When you have Desert Wanderer in your hand, especially when you're about to play Balion, it's important to check how many cards left play. So here I'm at 6 cards that have left play, so even Desert Wanderer Evil won't get Balion active, so we go ahead and have to manual Evil Balion here instead. Making sure that we are even on the evil points here, I guess. Go ahead and hit them in the face, which is nice. And there's the Goddess of Compassion. They're gonna go ahead and transmute that, which is fine. They also fused, I believe, I'm not sure you can see it. They fused the Chronos here, so that's important to note as well. We don't really have to watch out for Chronos anymore. But here we're just trying to improve our hands. So we go ahead and infuse here. We play the Lupine Crusher, which will give us the copy of the Balion spell, which we're gonna hold. Balion's spell is especially important against this matchup because it helps you clear their wards as well as give you OTK. Since they have so much healing, it's very likely that you have to rely on an OTK to finish the game. We go ahead and play the Fox Spearman here. We could play Luminous Blade to make hand space here because we will overdraw one card at this rate, but honestly it's probably fine as long as we don't mill a copy of Balion. We should be fine. There's the Zombo Droid from them, Ania Amethyst Creator as well. And I'm probably gonna play the spell. We've got a big wardy board here, which is fine. We're not really looking to get lethal at this point yet, so that's fine. We pick up the Luminous Blade, which is great. And we're just gonna use Benevolent Mother to help clear this board, so we go ahead and get rid of the roly-poly here. And we go ahead and get rid of the Zombo Droid as well. And then we will get the evolved Viridia Magna, who is now a 6/6. And we go ahead and play the Dashing Duelist here. Go ahead and trade. And then we go ahead and play the kick on the bot speedster as well, just to clear it. You could have played Fighter's Fortitude here as well. Well, it wouldn't have worked, but I guess we could have tried to remove the damage shield, but it's not that necessary. It's only 2 damage we're missing. So we go ahead and do this so that we clear that full board when we evolve Dashing Duelist. And we play the Fighter's Fortitude anyway, just to make hand space, I guess. And then we go ahead and fuse Desert Wanderer again to make hand space. We will mill one card here, but we already have Bela and Erica and a bunch of the spells anyway, so we don't really care what we mill at this point. We are set up for a lethal next turn, hopefully, is the idea, I guess. And there's the assembly drop from my opponent and the Ania. And a Zombo Droid as well, that's fine. They go ahead and play the Droid Secure as well. We got a big ward board we have to deal with, I guess. We mill the Fox Spearman, which is a bit unfortunate. That could have been useful. But we sort of just go this turn, I think. We'll most likely have lethal. I'll be honest here and say I didn't really count, I just assumed I would have lethal. Brothers Pride hits the roly-poly, which is a little bit unfortunate. Hitting the assembly droid or Zombo droid would have been better, but oh well. So we go ahead and just rapid fire Alien spell here, just to clear a bunch of enemies here. And we go ahead and evolve the Erica. We are at rally 15, so we can evolve Erica to pick up her spell. We go ahead and trade into the roly-poly here, and then we use the kick to finish it off. And then the Quick Blader can get rid of their damage shield. We can kill them this turn with nice lethal. On to the next game. So for our last game for today, we'll be going against Portal and we are going second. Machina can be a bit scary if it is Machina mainly because Baphomet summons that really annoying ward that heals with Clash, and we don't really have an answer to it, which is very obnoxious. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and look for 3 generators as usual. There's Inner, so this is most likely going to be Artifact. Go ahead and just pass with nothing to do here. There's no point playing Garelel early, we can just keep him for later. Opponent plays the Retrafia into the Inner, so this is definitely Artifact at this point. We'll go ahead and just get Lupine Crusher here, apply a little bit of pressure as we trade. Maybe they don't have a way to clear this. Going second, we do have Desert Wanderer, so we're gonna look to sap Desert Wanderer if we can for our evil turn. Assuming we draw something good next turn to play with. There's the Aegil for my opponent, so they had to fuse Aegil there, so my opponent's hand's probably not great, which is good for us. We go ahead and just play the Dashing Duelist here. Pick up a Seeker of Love, we're gonna go ahead and play that. If you're close to Rally 10 and you are looking at an Erica lethal, maybe it might be worth holding on to Seeker of Love, but I think for the most part it's fine to just slam her down and just pick up the Princess Juliet early on to just get rally count going, as well as the fact that she doesn't decrease your hand size, which is nice. Opponent plays the Lazuli here, that's fine. They go ahead and trade. The Laser Tyranny, thankfully our Duelist stays alive. Even if they cleared it, we would just go Desert Wanderer, so it's not that big of a deal. But since we kept the Duelist here, we're just gonna use it to apply phase pressure. Our hand's not looking great. Not a lot of 3 generators, as well as missing both Balion and Erica, which are both fairly important for the win. My opponent does transmute here, so they do have the A-Gate, which is good for them, I guess. And then they go ahead and play the Steel Uncongregation as well, so their hand's gonna get refilled even though they just spent the whole thing, because that's how Artifact works, I guess. Thankfully they had to sing a Carnelia here, I guess, but I'm not sure why they traded like how they did, but I guess if that's what they want to do. So we go ahead and play Desert Wanderer here to draw into our deck. Find trees, hopefully try to find Balion so we can look for lethal. Got another Desert Wanderer, which is not great. Go ahead and use the Lupine Crusher here just to draw into our deck more. We trade inefficiently to leave our board as empty as possible because Artifact likes having trade targets. And we just play one more Desert Wanderer just to draw deeper into our deck. We're at rally 7 now, so still a bit far, so we go ahead and just slam the Seeker of Love here just for the rally count to try to get Dashing Duelist to 10. So there's a Yuan's Forever for my opponent, that's fine with us. And out comes their Ratrafia. My opponent goes ahead and just trades some of their followers here. Out comes the Electric Rhino. The Ratrafia can be annoying, but we did save Garulel for this, so we can probably clear it quite easily. It's fine. Hopefully we can draw Balion at some point. There's the Analyzing Artifact as well, and the Post-Apocalyptic Girls to well, they also have another Ratrafia, so I guess that rounds out their turn. So this turn is, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward turn. I guess we picked up Balion, so we definitely want to get Balion active here. So assuming we play Balion here, we'd definitely like to hit face, right? So we're gonna look to do that, but the problem is the Evamia has a damage shield. In terms of board clear, we do have Dashing Duelist here. This is a very interesting turn that I feel like just sort of works out somehow. So Dashing Duelist at rally 8, which means that I play Balion and Garulel, and then I can play Dashing Duelist to get my Evil Point back. And Garulel's is at 2 evolve, so Balion's auto evolve plus Garulel's own auto evolve plus Dashing Duelist evolve will also activate that. So it's like all my effects are just getting activated this turn, which feels good. So in order to make sure Balion goes face, we have to clear this Evamia first. We go ahead and use the Fighter's Fortitude plus a copy of Untold or Legendary Kick to clear the Evamia ahead of time. Then we go ahead and play Balion first. You can also play Garulel first before Balion, it doesn't really matter. But the important point is to play these two first. And then we go ahead and play Dashing Duelist. Now that we're at rally 10, they will recover an Evil Point for me. And I can now evolve Dashing Duelist to get rid of this damage shield. And we can use Garulel to pick up our own damage shield here, and then Balion can just hit face for a nice 5 damage to hopefully look for a lethal next turn. With a decent amount of draw with Untold Kick, Brother's Pride and Lieutenant's Report in hand, so hopefully we can just draw a lethal off of that. There's the Sisterly Bonds. My opponent plays Spinaria's artifact here, which is fine. And there's the Analyzing Effects. My opponent's drawing through the deck, trying to find their Rhinos probably. There's the Radiant artifact as well. Another Analyzing artifact. Go ahead and trade that. Draw them. We do have Evamia for another damage shield, so our requirements for lethal for this turn got a bit higher, but hopefully we can still find it, because we might, there's a decent chance we die if we don't kill them next turn, so we'll have to try and find lethal here, I guess. And there's Laser Tyranny to round off their turn, I guess, and they do evolve the Radiant artifact as well, just to maximize face damage, probably looking to kill me next turn, which makes sense to me. Pick out Elena here, which is just lethal, so that's good. So go ahead and play the Elena. Doesn't really, well, it matters a little bit maybe, but mostly it doesn't matter why I discard here. Go ahead and play the Erica. And then we go ahead and evolve the Elena here and banish the Evamia to make sure that they don't get the damage shield, so we can kill them with Erica. And then Lupine Crusher is just 1 PP for 2 bodies, which is efficient for buffing Erica. Of course we could buff more by playing Brother's Pride, but since we have lethal, we're just gonna go ahead and play Killer Instinct and finish them off. That's it for this game. So that's it for the games I have for you today for this deck, Natura Sword. It looks like a very face-rolly deck, but it's actually deceptively difficult to play, so if you're looking to pick this up, you definitely need to practice a bit. The lethals can be hard to spot, and there's so much fusion going on, you really have a lot of decisions to make in this deck. And because there's no like fixed OTK combo like a lot of decks might have, you have to figure out how to find lethals as well. So yeah, can be a bit complicating to play, but I think it's a really fun deck. It's not it's one of the least brain dead sword decks ever. It's actually probably one of the more difficult sword decks to play out there. So yeah, if you're interested in the deck, definitely give it a try. It's not that expensive either, or maybe it's a bit expensive. For a sword deck, it's pretty cheap. So yeah, anyway, that's it for today. If you liked the video, I've always heard, well, not always, but I've heard that telling people to like and subscribe is a good thing to do in your video, so I will proceed to not do that. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, bye bye.